Meanwhile, four-time MVP LeBron James has his pick for MVP. James Harden? Nope. Anthony Davis? Negative. Here's what the King told the Associated Press. Quote, I would vote for me. The body of work, how I'm doing it, what's been happening with our team all year long, how we've gotten so many injuries and things of that nature, guys in and out. To be able to still keep this thing afloat, I definitely would vote for me. Max?
Yep.
You agree?
Yep. Look, I don't believe in sympathy MVP awards. I don't believe in pity, for when it comes to the MVP award. And James Harden is not only putting eye-popping numbers up and is a great, great player in his prime and getting better, but he came in second in the MVP the last two seasons, and it feels like it's his time. And because it seemed like it was going to be him the whole time, people have already said, we're not going to think about this anymore. It must be James Harden. But let's do this like one thought at a time here. Eyeball test. When you watch each player, who do you think is better? 100% of the people believe it's LeBron James, and they would be correct. He's better than James Harden. When you have your eyes on him, you think that is a better player than that. Player A, LeBron James, better than player B, James Harden. That's one. Two, this is verified by the numbers, not just the counting numbers, the actual numbers. How many wins is each player worth? This was on ESPN.com very recently. In fact, LeBron James has been worth 18-plus wins at the time this was done, and James Harden 16. James Harden is very closely bunched with Anthony Davis, the guy I told you he was close to James Harden in the MVP voting. He's like maybe less than half a win different, but LeBron James towers over them both. And part of the reason for that is not only is he the best player, he hasn't missed any games. James Harden has missed 8 games. So if you want to make it a team award, in other words, James Harden has better teammates than LeBron James, go ahead and do that. Of course, that's called the standings. There's already an award for that. It's seeding in the playoffs. If, on the other hand, we're trying to isolate the value of a player, I know it's boring. I know it doesn't seem fair. It's not interesting. But the answer is today, as it is every single season, LeBron James. He is your regular season MVP so far.
He is not the regular season MVP. It is James Harden. There is nothing to debate. James Harden plays on a team that's 17 games better than the Cleveland Cavaliers. James Harden is averaging 30. He's averaging 38 and 5. He's a better perimeter shooter. He's a better free throw shooter. And he is clearly leading the pack in Houston, who has been a model of consistency in a tougher conference. That's number 2. Number 3, even though the numbers are there for LeBron James, obviously, to be in the MVP discussion, because he should be every year, because numbers-wise, he certainly doesn't shortchange you or fall off. The reality is that, again, LeBron does have something to do with the inconsistencies of the Cleveland Cavaliers this year. Not just because Kyrie Irving left, primarily because he didn't want to be the little brother or be sunned by LeBron James per se, not revisiting history, but those were quotes that I personally put over the airways because that's what was told to me. But also you take into account Dwayne Wade's arrival, the relationship with LeBron James and D. Wade, and how that served indirectly anyway to alienate some of the people that LeBron James had cultivated a close relationship with. Not that it was bad or anything like that. It's just that there's levels to relationships. When you look at the level of inconsistency that the Cleveland Cavaliers have had this year, LeBron James is a culprit in all of this. I don't mean it as a negative, like he's a villain or something like that. That's not what I'm trying to imply. What I'm simply saying is that the kind of year that they were capable of having, that cohesion and togetherness can ultimately breed, he played a role in dismantling. There's no escaping that reality. When you take that into account, along with the fact that they're in a weaker conference, along with the fact that they're 17 games worse than Houston, along with the fact that James Harden is averaging 38 and 5. There is nothing to discuss as far as I'm concerned.
You're right, there is nothing to discuss.
James Harden is the league MVP.
You're right. By the way, you're right. There is nothing to discuss. You want to talk about just primitive counting numbers? LeBron's averaging 27, 9, 8.5. I mean, like, so 3 points versus how many rebounds and more assists? Like, what are you talking about?
I said 17 games. I said 17 games.
Oh. So now you want to make it about team. You can't, when you say regular season MVP
I'm making it about results. I'm making it about results,
when you talk about regular season MVP award, you can't count who he chased off in the offseason. We're talking about this regular season. You want to talk about results in terms of number of games won? Look at their teammates. James Harden is on a perfectly constructed team. He has a brilliant GM and a coach with a cohesive offensive philosophy. Houston is simply better than Cleveland. That's not because James Harden's on Houston and LeBron James is on Cleveland. That's because of all the other players on those two teams. LeBron James is putting up.
Let me tell you something. You can go to any team
numbers.
you want to. You can go to any team you want to. If you play a role in dismantling cohesiveness, it's going to have a detrimental effect.
In the offseason?
You can call it the off. Excuse me. Was Kyrie Irving on the team last season?
Not this season. We're talking about this regular season.
I didn't ask you. I asked you a question.
Yes,
I didn't ask you to tell me about last season.
Do you need the answer
he was
to that
on
question?
last year.
Yes,
he's not on this
year.
year. He's not on this year.
Right.
Were you not on the record saying that LeBron had something to do with that?
You cannot evaluate that in terms of LeBron's regular season performance.
Time out. Hold on. Wait a minute. I love how you answer without answering. Not only did you bring that up, Max Kellerman, you also pointed out how you had a problem with Dwayne Wade because as you were watching Cleveland this year and the relationship that they have with one another,
that's right.
You accused. Hold on. Time out. You accused Dwayne Wade of having a detrimental effect on LeBron.
Yeah, deleterious effect on the team, unintentionally.
Hold on. LeBron's numbers didn't dwindle at that particular moment in time. Right. LeBron James was still putting up his number, but you still said it was a negative effect. Why?
Right. The effect on the
Why
team
did you
wasn't
say that?
good. The effect on the team wasn't good. Cleveland.
Thank you.